Hey y'all, conservative brother Daily here. It's been a minute, and I got a lot of different topics I've been meaning to get back to, just with some things going on. Had to take a bit of a pause, but I'm back, and of course, I need to kick things off with what everyone's still kind of reeling from. And I got other topics coming up. Definitely going to touch back in on the migrant situation, Killer Mike, O.J. Simpson, coincidence theorists, who I like to nickname normies, open border, DEI, attempted bribe to carry lake, a lot of other stuff. So I hopefully want to get back to at least a 3 to 5 day recording of these videos, if not every day eventually. But yeah, Trump conviction, y'all. We got to talk about this, and I'm just gonna kind of get my unfiltered thoughts. I mean, this is a dark, dark week and a half, if you will, for America, and just really underlines the bogusness of this world we're now in, that the Democrats are now running and they're calling the shots and they think they can just do anything they want, unfortunately. Um, and I think what's crazy about this is that, you know, we have to like examine how we got here, how we first got here. And I think a lot of it does start with the fact that, as the Democrats and the elites, Obama continued the Bush agenda, the pro-war establishment agenda. And, we got to a point where once again, the middle class got fed up with it, and their answer was Donald Trump being elected in 2016. And we have a situation where, even Trump ran on lock her up, get Hillary, and a lot of the things that Obama was getting away with. But for whatever reason, when Trump got in there, I mean, he had the odds stacked against him. Everybody was coming after him. And he just sort of let it slide. He let Hillary's crime slide. He let Obama crime slide because that was sort of the precedence. Like, you don't use your office to politically come after your opponents. And the biggest downfall from all this, and a lot of, Republicans are waking up to it now, is the fact that we just have this moral high ground authority where we don't realize the other side. They're doing everything they can to cheat, and they'll flip the game table over. And this is another example of that, where they flip the game table over, and Republicans always find themselves on the side of defense, Trump especially. So this is complete BS. This is something that only the left establishing wants, so they could just say convicted felon, convicted felon, convicted felon. And unfortunately, there's probably about 10 to 15% of the normies out there, whether they're moderates, independents, or just straight left, that once again, the convicted felon is all they need because they hold so much esteem and it's like really like a subconscious subservient to government and authority. Whatever they say, they're the big respected huge institutions that we respect, that we don't question them at all. We don't question them on the FBI, CI history, killing JFK, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. We just hold these institutions as God in their eyes. So there's unfortunately going to be a 10 to 15% of the normies that just go, "Oh, I can't. Wow, he must have done it. He must be guilty. Like he must have done something wrong." And they won't look into anything. I'm gonna break down the details. I'm gonna break down where it's bogus, but not gonna look into anything. Their normie minds are just gonna go, "Wow, he must be guilty of something. I can't vote for a convicted felon." They decide to vote for Biden, and then they go back to, go back to brunch, basically, go back to work, or go back to sleep, or whatever. All right, so that's what I think. While we had a lot of giants that have waken up, sleeping giants, both even some on the left, the moderates, especially the Republicans, there's still going to be that faction. I think Jack Posobiec may have mentioned this, at least 10 to 15% that are still just going to sway in their normie ways. Like, oh, Trump's a convicted felon. I can't vote for a felon for president. And that's it. They don't do any research beyond that. So here's some things to kind of break down, just reminders about the case for any normies that might be watching, or people that already, maybe preaching the choir to. This case, and they talk about nobody's above the law, and you have Obama, who got caught misplacing $1.9 million in donor funds. That came out around 2013. He got a fine, slap on the wrist. Clinton, turns out he had a payout for a lady named Paula Jones in 1998 for an undisclosed amount. Nothing about that. I think he just got a fine as well. So Democrats love using this "no one is above the law" when it only applies to Trump. Yet they can't. They just gaslight and act like, well, it's being placed evenly. Where we're not talking about prosecuting Bush, both of the Bushes, Obama, Clinton, all of them, and Hillary. So let me get into just a little bit of facts for this case, which is such BS. Once again, this was a case run, this New York case, Alvin Bragg out of New York. This case was run by a Democrat DA and a former member of the Biden administration on the prosecution team. All right. So, do you see a conflict? Because I certainly do. I don't know if I have it written down here, but I know for sure Judge Merchan or whatever. His daughter is a Democrat fundraiser who sends out emails and raises millions of dollars off of fundraising over getting Trump. So no conflict there. Judge Marwan is corrupt in a lot of different ways as well. That one even especially. The fact that the judge didn't allow the defense uh, to bring on any key witnesses, the constant gag orders by Trump, and the gag orders are designed to be a protection of the defendant. You don't gag the actual defendant in their right to speak. Also, Judge Marwan was all these types of things, telling the jurors, well, you don't have to agree on. I'm gonna get into that, but you don't have to agree on what crime he actually committed in order to convict him. You don't have to agree unanimously on each individual count in order to convict them. People can agree he did something guilty here, guilty there, here and there, kind of pick and choose like an a la carte buffet. And then you guys could collectively choose if he's guilty of any one thing, you know? So there's that. Um, there's also the violation. Judge Merchant broke the Brady rule violation as well. I don't know a whole lot about that, but he broke that rule. I think that's according to Josh Hammer over at America on Trial. It's a really good podcast to listen to. Get this, guys. Fonnie Willis opens up an investigation on Trump in February of 2021, but it wasn't until 2022 that he was seeking re-election that Fonnie Willis all of a sudden brings up charges right after that, right after Trump announced he's running again for 2024. You got Merrick Garland, U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland, appointed Jack Smith for the Florida case. And then it was also after Trump coincidentally just announced he was running for office again that Alvin Bragg, who previously turned down this case, this Frankenstein zombie of a case, which I'm going to tell you why, Alvin Bragg previously turned that down in 2016, years ago. And now all of a sudden, once Trump announces he's rerunning, he drums up all these new indictments. Like, how is that not political? You can't tell me that isn't political or that isn't any sort of election interference. So the Democrats just, crazy. It's also the same DOJ that relentlessly just coming after Trump that refused to go after Hillary Clinton when she got caught with 16,000 emails that she and her team destroyed. The DOJ also refused to go after Joe Biden after he got caught with classified documents in his garage that we heard about. That he took while he was vice president. He had no clearance to take that while vice president. Then, like I mentioned, the judge admits to the jury that they can convict Trump without even agreeing on an underlying crime. Stormy Daniels in the 2018, she had a 2018 interview with Bill Maher, and she said this wasn't a Me Too thing. It isn't about the money. She mentioned then it was a consensual hookup, and it basically contradicted everything she said. She went on the stand and said all these other things. Michael Cohen alone, the most the most incompetent, like conflicted, already convicted of perjury, lying multiple times, runs a podcast where he makes money and peddles merchandise, get Trump. He does all this on the basis of getting Trump for his own personal gain. He admitted he stole from Trump's enterprises, is their key witness. Then, like I mentioned, you got Alvin Bragg, who's a registered Democrat for office, solely running on the political platform to get Trump. This is banana republic times we're in, where it's the whole show me the man and I'll show you the crime. All right. And when I mentioned before, this is a case of like a zombie Frankenstein of a case. This was a misdemeanor at best. when this word first came out about this payment, this hush money to Stormy Daniels, which every politician does, this it was already past the statute of limitations. They could have brought on it on as early as they could have brought charges as early as late 2016 after Trump was in office. And or they could have actually conveniently waited till after the 2024 election if they were about preserving democracy and don't believe in election interference. They could have easily waited till to after the 2024 election. But why not? Why would they decide? Oh, let's try and get him while he's running, and we're all supposed to leave that's not political and has no election interference. Get the fuck out of here. And like I mentioned before, the whole point of a gag order is to protect the rights of the defendant. So why would you put a gag order on Trump, the very defendant on the case? All right. And then, like I mentioned, the Southern District of New York rejected the case in 2016. The FEC rejected the case back in 2016. You had Alvin Bragg himself 7 years ago didn't want to bring up the case. You have in court, you have the people in New York who are claiming that there were victims of, I think the Florida case with the inflated property, saying that he lied about the price of his properties. You have the banks that he originally did business with on record, on court, saying, yeah, we were made whole by this. He paid off and did what he was supposed to do. Like, no, they're still victims. So they're disregarding the banks that Trump paid back and saying, no, there were victims in this. There were people who couldn't get homes because of this. And the bank's saying, no, that's not the case. And then, like I mentioned, this whole jury unanimous the immunization of jury unanimity. Basically, it's like this racist pre-Jim Crow law, where basically back when there was maybe a couple black jurors who happened to get jury duty with mainly all white with like a majority white jurors. These were the tactics they used, where even if there were some dissenting black jurors, but there were majority white Southern jurors, they can decide to still convict the person regardless of those 2 or 3 minority voices. And now those same pre-Jim Crow laws are being used against Trump now, where basically 12 jurors, the fact is, if they all think he's guilty of one count is one thing and they ruled it. But instead, you got all these 12 jurors, they're supposed to go through each count and agree unanimously together if they're guilty of that count. Instead, is one count here, 4 or 5 people agree on it. One count there, 5, 6 people agree on it that he's guilty. And they can just decide as a collective, he all must be guilty of something. This came out of Judge Marwan's words. So yeah, that's just, I don't want to go too long about that, but end of the day, this is a complete sham. This is a complete, I see why tides are turning. You got Silicon Valley, tech venture capitalists now donate money to Trump. You have droves of people, black, white, Latino, especially black men, especially, that are leaving the Democrats, supporting Trump, and this is just ridiculous. So I'll have a lot more videos, maybe more niche, videos coming up. I'm gonna try and get back to at least doing it a few days a week, so I could like a deep dive on a topic and maybe only have it go 5-10 minutes. I really like to make them go 3 to 5 minutes, but topic goes 5 to 10 minutes. That's kind of where I want to stay in this sweet spot. This one's a little long, obviously, because I've been going away, but Conservative Brother Daily is back, and I'm going to continue putting out more content as we continue this crazy 2024 year. As Cat Williams said, this is the year of truth. He's proven right more and more. And yeah, it's going to be a crazy election year. Stock up on your guns, stock up on ammo and food, because it's about to get real, y'all. Conservative Brother Daily. I'll talk to you guys next time.